If you are a Nostr user, you've likely already set up a Lightning address so that you can receive Zaps. However, this is likely a custodial service that you're using. Today we're going to be taking a look at Voltage and their Nostr offerings so that you can begin to receive non-custodial Lightning payments on Nostr. I am Ben with the BTC Sessions. This is your daily session.
HODL the Bitcoin.
Before we dive in, shout out to sponsors of the show, HodlHodl.com. If you're buying Bitcoin and you've got a few priorities in mind, namely peer-to-peer transactions, instant self-custody, and no KYC, then HodlHodl is for you. You can sign up in minutes with nothing more than an email address and be peer-to-peer trading non-KYC sats in no time at all. Really simple to use. Scroll down, choose your currency, choose your payment method, select your amount, and start browsing offerings right away. They also have a peer-to-peer lending platform in which nothing is rehypothecated. You can check them out today at HodlHodl.com, and there's a link down below where you can get signed up right away. Now, when you do get your hands on non-KYC sats, you're going to want to secure them with the best damn hardware on the market. And in my opinion, that is everything coming out of CoinKite. The Cold Card Mark IV is an absolute beast. Simple to use, but also a ton of advanced features if you care to dive into them. They've also got great stuff like the tap signer, the sats card, the block clock, the open dime, and coming down the pipe really soon, the Cold Card Q1 looks insane. If you want to reserve it now or pick up anything else, head to coinkite.com. You can use code BTC Sessions for 5% off everything in the store. Now, if you're looking to go beyond a single sig option and you'd like to dive into multi-sig, then Nunchuk is knocking it out of the park with their Honey Badger offering. This is an assisted multi-sig setup with baked-in inheritance planning. The app is mobile. It walks you through every step of the way very simplistically. It works beautifully with stuff like the tap signer and the cold card from CoinKite. And again, that baked-in inheritance planning gives you that peace of mind, so you know that the sats are going to get to your next of kin when the time comes. And my favorite part about it, no KYC. Also, you don't need to give up your private information to sign up and use their Honey Badger program. Check out my full tutorial on it, and you can check them out at nunchuk.io. And finally, shout out to Start9, your sovereign computing solution. You can run your whole Bitcoin stack on a Start9 embassy. Really simple. You can run Bitcoin Core. You can run your Lightning node. You can run things like mempool.space, join market, all kinds of great stuff. You can also host your own data, password managers, files, photos. You can even run Nostr clients and Nostr relays on this thing. It's badass. Head over to start9.com. You can grab yourself a pre-built Embassy 1, which is your entry level, or an Embassy Pro if you're looking to host your whole life on this thing. So yeah, check them out, start9.com. And with that, let's dive into the show. So let's talk prerequisites. What are you going to need to know in order to properly utilize this tutorial and start accepting non-custodial Zaps on Nostr? Well, first up, you're going to want to actually be on Nostr. You're going to want a Nostr account and be using that social protocol. If you are not set up there, well, you can check out, I've got a couple tutorials already. One for Damus, which is a popular client that is available for iOS app stores. And then I've got a general one that applies to desktop and Android, just called Use Nostr Protocol. So you can check out either of those videos. That should get you set up there if you're not set up already on Nostr. Up next, familiarity with Lightning, just in terms of sending and receiving payments, is an asset. If you haven't sent or received Lightning payments, well, it's worth diving into that. I've got a full playlist on different Lightning wallets that you can check out. And more or less what you're looking for is just the basics of how do you create an invoice, how do you send to a Lightning address, how do you, sending and receiving payments. So if you feel so inclined, you can check out some of that. Now, the more important stuff here, because we're wanting to do this non-custodially, meaning you're running your own Lightning node, I do have a full tutorial on setting up your own Lightning node. Now, the way we're utilizing Lightning in this instance is via Voltage. And so they host the infrastructure. You don't have to build anything yourself. However, there is the process of creating Lightning channels between you and other people so that you can send and receive payments. And so there's a lot of stuff in and around that. There's a video that I did called How to Open a Bitcoin Lightning Channel. And that one is definitely an asset in terms of what you'll be using today. And then also a second one called How to Get Inbound Lightning Channels and Liquidity. So getting people to open channels to you so that you can receive payments. So if you check out a couple of those, that'll kind of get you through that initial learning curve. However, we will walk things through as slowly as possible here so that you can just follow along and rewind when you need to. The only other thing I'll mention that you might want to check out is because we're going to be using Voltage, they will run a Lightning node for you. And when I say for you, I mean they host the infrastructure, but they have no access to your funds whatsoever. We'll touch on that in a moment. But you can also run BTCpay server, which allows you to set up stores, allows you to set up tipping apps, all that kind of stuff. And that's super useful. The other thing I'll mention, and I didn't pull it up here already, but there's a Lightning wallet called Zeus. And we're going to use this near the end to connect to your Voltage node so that you can have access on mobile to your own infrastructure and all of the Zaps that you're receiving. So I will link all of this in the show notes down below if you need it, so go check it out. But otherwise, let's dive into Voltage and get you set up there. Okay, so I'm going to start from a place where I've got a couple different pages open, actually. I'm on voltage.cloud, and I've also got voltage.cloud/NOSTR, okay? And so we're going to be effectively setting up a Lightning node, and then we're going to be linking in our NOSTR NPub, our basically public profile, and creating a Lightning address and all of that. But first order business, let's get a Lightning node running with Voltage. Now, I want to address the non-custodial nature of this and just kind of hone in on exactly what's going on here. There's kind of levels in which you would be custodial to non-custodial. So obviously right now, the majority of people using NOSTR are just using like Wallet of Satoshi or Alby or whatever it may be. And that's, that's fine out the gate. If you're dealing with a few bucks here and there, not the end of the world. But it is nice to be able to have entire self-custody. And if something were to happen to Wallet of Satoshi or they were to rug pull and disappear, they could just take everybody's money. And same with Alby. I'm not saying they're going to do that, but just know that that is possible. And then at the far other end of the spectrum, there is running your own Lightning node, building it yourself, having it in your home, and then connecting your Lightning node to all the other peers and having the Bitcoin allocated to it and flowing through it and all that, and then linking up your NOSTR profile with that. We are doing what's basically a happy medium. If you're starting from a place where you're using a custodial solution and you'd like to jump forward, this is kind of your next hop along the way. And you can do it through Voltage by running a hosted Lightning node. And the reason this is non-custodial is because Voltage itself, yes, it hosts the infrastructure. It's sitting on their servers. However, all of the credentials and the payment information and the access to money is encrypted through your login credentials that you create. So you'll have a login for Voltage, but then you'll also have separate passwords and two-factor authentication, whatever it may be, for the node itself. And Voltage does not have access to that. So they can't go and, like close your channels and rug pull your money and take off. Yes, if Voltage itself, the service goes down, you do not have access to the infrastructure, but they can't just like rob you and run out the door. Okay, so just differentiate. It's basically that in between. Whereas at the far end of the spectrum, if you set up your own node at home, then you have access to the physical infrastructure of it as well. We will touch on how you can link to that. I'm not going to go through the steps, but I'll show you what would be necessary in order to link it up. That'll be a future video down the road. So anyways, we're here at voltage.cloud. You can hit login if you have an account, or sign up if you do not. But pretty simple, just an email address. So this is going to be my dummy account out the gate here, just so you can kind of see what it looks like. By the way, if I'm not mistaken, they still have a thing where you'll get $10 of free node credit out the gate. So that'll at least get you up and running for a month and a bit. And then if you can wish to continue on, then you can do so. Maybe a bit less than a month. Anyways, don't quote me on that. Okay, so I'm just gonna hit sign in here, and this particular account has nothing really set up so far. So from my main page, when I log in, it says, well, what would I like to do? And again, because this account already existed, you might see something a little bit different at first, some explanations and everything. But basically, you want to go to the nodes section. That's what you're looking to set up. And then it says, welcome to Voltage, create a node to get started. So I'm going to hit create a node. And we're going to be setting up an LND node. Okay, we're going to click on that option. And for simplicity's sake, we're going to choose the light node, the cheapest option. It is a Lightning node on a shared platform, Tor support, and it's backed by Neutrino, meaning it's not a full implementation of Bitcoin Core that's also running in the background. You're not hosting, another 500 gigs of data with them. You just have a light Lightning node. It'll do the trick just fine. Okay. So this is going to be $12.41 per month, or if you're looking at it hourly, it'll be 1.7 cents per hour. So if you decide that you don't want to run this too long, you can play around with it and then ditch it if you choose not to continue. Nonetheless, I'm going to hit create. Okay, now we're going to give the Lightning node a name and a password. So you're just going to say whatever you want to call it. You're going to give it a name, put in your password. We'll jump ahead. After an initial setup screen and a couple loading screens, you will see enter your node's password to unlock, and we're just going to put that in right here and hit unlock. You now have a functioning Lightning node. Now, there's no ability to send and receive payments yet. That's going to be involved in the channel setup, and we're going to take a look at that on my other node. So that's it. That's all you need in order to get set up and have a functioning Lightning node run on Voltage. Now, I should clarify, you can't yet send and receive payments, and that's because you don't have any Lightning channels yet. We're going to jump over to my main Voltage account, and we're going to see what it's like to get first some inbound channels, and then I'll show you quickly how to create an outbound channel so that you can send payments if you're looking to tip other people on Nostr. So we'll get that set up first. And we're going to jump to my main account. By the way, if you decide that you later don't want to, or want to temporarily suspend a node or create a new one later, you can go down to the bottom and you can hit delete node, and then you just type in the name of the node, and then you can hit the delete button. There you go, and that's pretty much that. By the way, if you want to, in order to top up your account, I should also say, is you go to account details, under billing, you can say add node credit, you choose an amount, hit fill up, and then, hey, there's your QR code, and you can send Bitcoin there. You can also choose to pay through, you can pay Bitcoin, you can pay Lightning, or you can pay credit card if you choose, which, why? But nonetheless, very easy to top up your node credit if you need to, and you can pay with Lightning through the channels that you set up in a moment. Okay, so here we are on my main Voltage account that I actually use all the time. And this is our main page. Again, we've got options to go to nodes or flow. Also in the top left, if you click there, that always takes you back to the main page. If you go to nodes here, then you will see any nodes that you're currently running. I have both a BTCpay server and an LND node that are linked. I'm not going to dive into BTCpay, but if you want to check that out in another video, it is linked down below. And then just some other navigation notes over in the top right when you're on this page. If you tap the squares there, it'll give you, again, the easy options to go to nodes, flow, account, or support. All of that is there. All right. But for now, we're going to go into our LND node. We're going to hit view. Again, it's asking me to unlock the node with my password. And we've got full access to everything here. So what we want to do is we want to get channels set up in order to send and receive payments. In terms of being able to receive Zaps on NOSTR, we need to have inbound channels to our node. So we're going to click on dashboards over on the left. And here it gives us a tool known as Thunderhub. And Thunderhub is basically a way to view and interact with your node, create channels, see payments coming in and out, all that kind of great stuff. So we're going to go and we're going to hit create dashboard. It basically spins up an app for us. It takes a moment to show up. And once this loads, we'll be able to launch it and start taking a look at our node. Now, I should clarify, I do have some existing channels there. There's already payments that have been going through this, but it'll give you an overview of what it might look like, and we'll see how to get an inbound channel and an outbound channel. After about 30 seconds, I see the button to launch dashboard, which I can click on now. It's going to ask for a password again. You set this when you set up your node. And so we're just going to hit login. We'll put in password and 2FA if you have it enabled, and then hit connect. Okay, here we are on our Thunderhub dashboard, and this gives us an overview of our node. We'll just look at some quick navigation, what you're looking at. There's a lot here. Try not to get overwhelmed. You don't need to know all of this right now. If you're really curious about it, again, check out some of my node videos down below, and they will help you through. In particular, the Umbral one, there's a whole section on Thunderhub and setting up your Lightning node. You can check that out down below. Nonetheless, what do we see here? In the top left, there's the name of our node. Then it has a split between the funds that are on the Lightning Network and funds that are on chain. For you, if you just set it up, both will say 0. By the way, if they are yellow, that means everything is fully settled and confirmed. If they are blue, that means that something is in the process of settling. So it's dependent on an on-chain transaction to happen. And it will turn yellow soon. Over in the middle here, again, we have a total amount of sats that you have. This is combining Lightning and on-chain. And then it has the split between on-chain Bitcoin and Lightning there as well. Down below, it'll show your Lightning funds, available, not available, pending. So it would only ever not be available if a channel between you and somebody is temporarily offline. They're not online for a moment, or their node isn't currently operating. And usually those come back in a few moments. Pending would be if you're in the process of opening a channel, or a channel is in the process of closing, then you would see that. Same thing over here on the right, available, pending, and forced closures, meaning that a channel was closed and the person wasn't online. And then for each of those, Lightning and Bitcoin, you've got send and receive, send and receive. You won't need to necessarily be interacting with the screen too much, because you're going to be doing the Zaps through NOSTR and through a mobile app, which we'll connect later. But there's your general navigation. Now, what we're interested in is this connect section right here, kind of in the middle of your screen, because that's the information that we're going to need to use in order to get somebody to open a channel to us. And people opening a channel to us is useful so that we can receive payments. What they effectively do is somebody's going to open a channel to you. All of the Bitcoin in that channel is going to be on their side of the channel. So they retain ownership of all of that. But if somebody is paying you and it gets routed through that channel, that means that kind of like the beads of an abacus, those funds will shift to your side of the channel. The person that opened the channel is never losing money or anything because they'll be receiving Bitcoin through another channel and then bumping some down the line to you. But they're just facilitating those transactions to come through, and potentially you'll be facilitating transactions for others as it flows through you. So this is the important bit here, the connect section. And then just below that, under quick actions, there's a little button that says open. And that's what we're going to use to open a channel to another node so that we can send out of our node. Now, I do have a number of channels to this node already. I can see them if I look over on the left-hand side. There's a whole bunch of different tabs there. And one of them says channels, which I can click on, and there's a handful of channels there. Most of them are inbound channels because I primarily use this for receiving payments, whether it be through my BTCpay server or whether it be tips, or if I happen to have funds on a mobile Lightning app and I want to get it more kind of my own custody, I might send it to this particular node. So nonetheless, you can see all of the channels here, and how I said how funds can kind of flow from one side to the other. The blue is what is yours. And so you can see this bottom channel of mine here. That's where a bunch of sats have been flowing into, because I see 1.1 million sats on my side that have flowed my direction, okay? Whereas the rest of this is all potential inbound payments that I could get. Now I've got a good amount of inbound here, but we want to demo this. We want to show what it's like to get an inbound channel. This is what your main goal is going to be. So how do we do that? We're going to jump to that next. So for this video, I've chosen to use amboss.space to get some inbound liquidity. It is one of a variety of tools in which you can effectively pay a few bucks to get somebody to open a channel with you for an extended period of time. And this allows you to then receive payments. Eventually, you may not need to pay a few bucks for somebody to open you a channel. If you've got a well-connected node with lots of channels in and out, then people may find it attractive to open a channel with you in order to route their payments. Or you may know people or have friends or so on and so forth that you can connect with mutually. Tons of tools. I will link other options down below, but for now, let's use Amboss. So amboss.space, you go there, you're going to hit login, and there's a string. It says message to sign. Well, this is a weird way to log in. Well, we're learning. We're going to hit the copy button, okay? And we're going to jump back to your Thunderhub. Over on the left-hand side, there is something that says tools. And if you look down a little bit, there's something that says sign message, and you're going to click the sign button. Now, you're going to paste in what you just copied from Amboss. You're going to click sign, and that's going to give you another string, which you can then copy. Jump back to Amboss, paste that in, and hit login. Congratulations, you are now logged in to Amboss, and it has all of the information about your node so that you don't have to fill it in manually. We're now going to click at the top where it says Magma. So Magma is effectively a marketplace where if you have a node and you need somebody to connect an incoming channel with you, you can go there and you can effectively pay somebody a few bucks to lock up their Bitcoin with you for a set period of time so that you can receive payments. This is particularly useful for those just starting out that don't have any liquidity to their node yet. But eventually you might not need to use services like this because you'll have enough channels set up, and it may even become attractive for people to open channels with you because it's a good way to route their payments. Nonetheless, we're going to find somebody that we'd like to have open a channel for us, and we're going to pay a few bucks to get that set up. So pretty much there's some default settings for buying inbound lightning channels, okay? And you can basically choose like 500,000, a million, 2.5 or 5 million sats, or you can do a custom amount. Best to go with one of the defaults in my opinion. We'll just go with the default 1 million sat channel. So we're going to click get offer, and it's going to show us a whole bunch of different options. And I can see, well, okay, this person is about $3 and they'll open a 1 million sat channel for 6 months or 180 days. And I can kind of scroll along and see a whole bunch of different options here in terms of different lengths of contracts, so on and so forth. Okay, well, just again, for the purpose of this video, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to do it the second option here. It's only 90 days. I've got plenty of channels, so I'll just do something quick, cheap, and easy. All right, $1.44 US dollars. And I'll get a million sat channel. The duration is going to be 90 days, so on and so forth. So I'm going to hit continue. All I need to do here, it says connect to this node. So we're going to add this node as a peer. So I'm going to copy the information here. You're going to jump back over to Thunderhub, and over on the left, you're going to select peers. You're going to add this person as a peer to your node. So there's a little add button in the top right. You're going to just paste in the information you copied, and you're going to hit the add button. Should take a second. You'll get a notification that they've been added right there. We can jump back to Amboss. Everything is all good now. We're all set. We're just going to hit open order. Order has been created, and you'll be able to see this down below. There's a few tabs: all offers, my offers, opened, received. We're just going to click on opened. All right. And now we're going to see right here, the top one is the latest one for 1 million sats or 0.01 Bitcoin. We can actually click on it. It'll bring up the summary and it'll show us where we're at. Basically, the seller is going to be notified, hey, somebody would like to buy a channel for you. Then they will initiate that, and we will be instructed through the steps here what to do next. Pretty simple process. We'll just wait and see what comes up next. Okay, now it has been updated. We're on step 2 of 6. Basically, the seller has accepted the offer, and it gives me instructions here. All right, pay 4,750 sats, the invoice for this order. So effectively, if you've already been working with a Lightning wallet, then you can really simply either copy this invoice and paste it in, or you can click to get the QR code. I've got my phone open here with the Lightning wallet, so I'm just going to click send. I'm literally scanning the invoice right now, and I'm hitting send. Hopefully that should pop up no problem. Appears to have gone through on my phone. Just had to hit refresh on the screen there, but yes, it has gone through. And now it just says it's waiting for the channel to open. So the buyer is now going to open a channel to my Lightning node, my voltage Lightning node. And so we'll wait for that to happen. Jumping forward a couple minutes, we now get the notification, step 4 of 6. The seller has sent the channel opening transaction, and now they're going to monitor to see when the channel opens and has 3 confirmations. Again, a few minutes have passed, well, a little bit longer. 3 confirmations now on the channel being opened, and lastly, Amboss will just validate it as they check the network. Final step of the way, 6 of 6 steps finished. They've now seen the channel live and can validate that it is connected. Now for you, if you want to double check on that, you can go to your Thunderhub. And again, it's going to look a little bit differently than mine, but just head over to where it says channels. And under the open tab, which will be the first one that you get to, you should see a channel that is open to you here. And it will all be green because that's how much capacity you have to now accept incoming payments. Up next, we'll create a channel for outgoing payments so that you can tip others via the exact same node. So with an inbound channel established, that means you can now, of course, receive payments, but you want to be able to send payments as well. Now, I should be clear that For receiving payments, you may want more than one channel. You may want to get a handful of channels so that people can easily find routes to get to your node to be able to pay you, because sometimes through the network you effectively have to find a way, a 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon kind of way to get your payment to the intended recipient. So you may want to go through that process a few times, use Magma or use some of the other recommended mentions in the show notes down below for getting inbound channels. But we're now focusing on paying out. Now, with your established channels, or established channel if you've just got the one, as you get tips, that adds to the balance that is yours on your side of that channel. It also enables you to send out through that channel. So if you're tipping other people, you can use the tips that you've accumulated to spend back out. But when you're just starting out, you may want to actually load up your Lightning node with some funds of your own so that you can tip out to other people on Nostr. And so this is where we're going to fund our node with some of our own Bitcoin, and then create a channel that is outbound, or a channel where all the Bitcoin is sitting on our side of the channel so that we can spend. Okay. And over time, those channels will move to and fro, and the balance of where the Bitcoin is, whether it's yours or whether it's on the other side of the channel so it can be accepted, will change over time, and it'll kind of ebb and flow. So just so you know. So within Thunderhub, what you're going to do to fund your node with regular on-chain Bitcoin before we open a channel, it's just on the main screen here. By the way, if you need to get back, the home button over on the left, that's what you're going to click. So there are two sections, again, Lightning and Bitcoin. And so the one on the right, you can click receive, and then you can click create address. And this gives you a QR code you can scan with your phone, or a regular Bitcoin address that you can just click copy and paste into a Bitcoin wallet that you own. So I'm going to, I have a Bitcoin wallet on my phone. So I'm going to scan this QR code. I'm going to send over some Bitcoin. That, I won't document this chunk, but then we will see what it looks like as it's in the process of confirming, and when it's then available to open up a Lightning channel with. All right, so I've now received on-chain the funds that I sent over. We can see that because over here on the left, we see the on-chain balance has gone up. So I sent over 1 million sats. And then it's also represented over here on the right under Bitcoin. I can see my available on-chain balance sitting there as well. Now, depending on your certain instance, you may see it sitting as pending as that transaction is waiting to confirm. I did some refreshes and I didn't see it represented there, but as soon as that transaction was officially confirmed, the balance was fully updated. So if you don't see an update right away, don't panic. It'll get there as soon as, again, your transaction fully goes through. Nonetheless, we're going to use these funds here, which are on-chain Bitcoin. They're not allocated to the Lightning Network yet. We're going to open a channel with those funds. So I want to show you this website. I've done it on some of my other Lightning tutorials here. It is called terminal.lightning.engineering. And it basically gives you a ranked list of all these popular Lightning nodes. And pretty much, anything in the top few hundred nodes is going to give you some pretty good routing to be able to make payments. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a look down the list. I'm going to connect to one of these nodes so that I can spend out and be able to, again, tip on Nostr. So let's take a look down the list here. By the way, what you're looking at, it'll give you the rank of the node, the name of the node, how many good peers, which is like well-connected other nodes, are connected to them, and then like the general capacity of the node, like the total amongst all of the channels connected to this node, how much funding is allocated there, and then how long the node has been around to, and the amount of time that it's been around gives you a good indication of how reliable and so on and so forth, or if it's a relatively new node, you may be unsure. Anyways, it gives you some good ideas about what you're looking at there. So I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to take my pick of one, and we'll pull it up here in a moment. Okay, so I scrolled down a little bit. I found this one called Bitcoin Jungle CR, which is actually, I know that Costa Rica. So I'm going to click on that node. It gives me the connection info. There's a little section that says connect. In some instances, there'll be two options here. It doesn't really matter which one you're going to choose. One will be ClearNet, one will be Tor. We don't need to dive into that, but there's only one option here. So I'm going to click copy, and that copies the connection information so that I can connect and create a channel to this node. I'm going to jump back to Thunderhub here, and now we're going through the process of opening a channel. So we're going to scroll down a bit. Under quick actions, there's a button that says open. We're going to click that. It gives you some default options to connect to, but we want the manual option. We're going to go manual, and there's an open button. And then it just asks you some questions about who you'd like to connect to. Is this a new peer? Is this somebody new you're connecting to? Yes. It says the new node, we need the information, the connection information we just copied. So we're going to paste that in. Up next, we need the channel size. How large of a channel? Now, some nodes have limitations on the minimum size, so you may need to scroll down enough to get a smaller channel if you need a smaller channel. I'm going to do 750,000 sats. Hopefully that should be fine. I tend to migrate towards channels of 1 million sats or more, but in this instance, based on what I've got sitting here on chain, we'll give this a try. 750,000. It does break it up with a comma over here so you can read it easier. And then finally, the fee. And what is the fee? It is an on-chain fee. You're doing a regular on-chain Bitcoin transaction to establish a channel between you and this node, after which you can do as many Lightning Network transactions through this channel as you choose. And you don't need to do anything on-chain until at which point you decide to close the channel, which, you know, some channels can stay open for years if you choose to keep them open. So as long as funds are moving, then no really need to change or close the channel. So what you can do is you can manually put in your fee in sats per byte, or the easier option is hit auto. It'll give you options in terms of how busy is the network and how quickly do you want to open the channel. If you're not in a rush, you can choose the lower option. If you want it to happen quickly, you can choose the fastest. So I'm going to go fastest for this video, but yeah, you make your own choices, and then I'll hit the open channel button. Hopefully this should go off without a hitch. All right, so we get a message, channel is opened. And so we can see that by navigating over to channels on the left. And it may take a second to refresh. You may have to refresh your screen. There we go. Okay, and what I can see now, of course, I have my other channels here, and you may be different. You may just have the one incoming that you're already set up. But over here in pending, I see a little 1. So if I click on that, hey, there's that channel waiting to be established, and it'll take a few on-chain confirmations to be accessible and be able to transact through it. Also, make note, over here on the left-hand side, up in the top left, and actually if I navigate back home, same here, these icons have turned from yellow to blue. I'm super colorblind, by the way. Anyways, this just means that things are in the process of confirming. So you got some pending funds, and you can see that underneath in each of these. So I've got change from the transaction that I just did on chain. So that's pending, which will then be added to the available on-chain balance. And then I see I have a pending balance in Lightning as well. That will be added to my total available when it is confirmed. Now, the reason for the discrepancy here, because I made a 250,000 sat channel, it always keeps a little bit of the funds on either side of the channel in reserves, so that when you want to close the channel, you have enough to actually pay the on-chain fee. So you'll see that fluctuate from time to time based on how busy the network is. The funds are there, but it just kind of keeps a little bit in reserve for you just in case you go to close a channel when fees are higher. All right, so just know that. This will update as soon as everything is on-chain and confirmed. But at that point, we'll be able to then deal with linking this to our NOSTR account. So now that we have a working Lightning node via Voltage, we can start linking things up. And I should be clear here that you can still do part of this for free with Voltage, but we wanted to be able to zap non-custodially and send, Lightning payments to and from on Nostr with all of this set up. So that's kind of the point of the video. So nonetheless, this is voltage.cloud/Nostr. And all you're going to do is you're going to click on the Start for Free button. If you're already logged into Nostr, if you're already logged into Voltage, rather, it should just automatically bump you to a place where you can add accounts. Now, I already have my Voltage or my Nostr account loaded up here, but we're going to take a look at how to set this up. If you are not logged into Voltage currently, it will send you to the regular login screen. You'll need to navigate back to voltage.cloud/Nostr and then hit the Start for Free button. Nonetheless, you're going to basically see this screen here minus an existing account, okay? And so you're going to hit Add or Create a Nostr account. Now, if you have an existing Nostr account, which if you're watching this is, I'd say, fairly likely, then you're going to navigate to wherever you're using Nostr. So for instance, this is snort.social on desktop. And then you're going to go to your own account and you're going to find your npub. This string right here, there may be, it may be found in different areas of your profile page, depending on what client you're using, but you're looking for your public key. In some instances, it's called a user ID. I know they refer to it as that on Iris. Nonetheless, you're basically looking for a string of digits that starts with NPUB. Make sure you do not copy something that is your NSEC. NSEC, that is your private key, and you don't want to go copying and pasting that everywhere, okay? So nonetheless, I'm going to grab this string of digits here. However, in our example here, I'm going to actually create a new Nostr account, given that I've already linked mine with Voltage. But that is the information you would copy. You would jump back to your page. You'd paste it in under Nostr pub key, and then you would give yourself a NIM. So whatever you want to call yourself. Mine is BTC sessions. And then at the end is at vlt.ge at Voltage. For this instance, we're actually going to show how to create a new one, but every step hereafter would be also the same. So in this instance, we'll just hit create new. I'm just going to call it sessions test is going to be the NIM for this one. And then it actually creates a public and private key for me. So I'm just going to hit create Nostr account. And then everything here is now set up. So I have a public key and I also have a private key. In the previous screen, it said, hey, you're going to want to copy your private key and put it in a password manager or something like that. Again, if you're already on Nostr, you're probably already familiar with that. But if not, then yes, your private key will be put into a password manager or somewhere safe. The other thing you're now going to do is you're going to enable Lightning address and Zaps. Right now, it will by default say off. You're going to hit enable. You're going to choose your node. And so this one you'll have already set up. There should only be one unless you have some other nodes set up on Voltage. But you just select the existing node. And then you're going to type in your node password. And you're going to hit save settings. And that will basically create whatever your NIM was in the case that we just set up, sessions test at Voltage or at vlt.ge. That will become your NIP05 identifier, which is like an email address, something somebody can easily search to find you on Nostr. And it will also become your Lightning address. So this can be input into a lot of different Lightning wallets as a place to send Bitcoin to. And this is actually the mechanism through which you receive Zaps on Nostr as well. So Lightning tips. So you type in your node password and you'd hit save settings. Now, this is the screen that I also want to show you. If you have your own external hardware, you can click on use a self-hosted node. And it's going to require a few bits of information here. Your Lightning endpoint, your Lightning invoice macaroon, and your Lightning TLS certificate, and both of those in hex format. I am not going to dive into how to do this on your own self-hosted node right now. There's a lot to consider here, but nonetheless, just know if you do have your own infrastructure and you can easily get this information, you can paste it in there, and it doesn't even need to go to a voltage node. It can go to your own self-hosted one. I'll do a video on this in the future, just so you know. But nonetheless, we will be using a voltage node. I can just type in the password here and hit save settings. All right. And at this point, it now says Lightning address and Zaps on. If I need to configure or do anything with that at any point, I can do that here. And then at this point, I'm now able to grab the information that I need from here, which is literally just this right here, sessions test at voltage, and use that as my Lightning address and my NIP05 over on Nostr. So let's see what that would look like. If I go to whatever application I'm using and I go and I want to edit my actual page here. So I would go to settings. Now in Snort, it is found under profile. And this is where you paste in all of your different information. And that includes NIP05. So you can see here, again, we had the dummy account that we're using, but I have my actual one here, BTC sessions at vlt.ge. I just pasted that in. Same thing, Lightning address, BTC sessions at vlt.ge, and simply hit save. If you save this on one client, it will save across all clients. So if you use a different client on your desktop than you use on your mobile phone, than you use on a tablet, it doesn't matter. That profile is the same across if you're using Snort, or using Damus on iOS, using Amethyst on Android. It's all the same everywhere. All of this information gets relayed to your account everywhere on every client. So you need to save it once in one client and you're done. All right, that's it. So you just paste in that. You are now capable of being searched up by your NIP05, your voltage NIP05, and you're now capable of receiving Lightning payments direct to your own node with your Lightning address in your Nostr account. So people will be able to zap you. It'll go directly to your own node. However, you don't necessarily want to be going into voltage and accessing Thunderhub and doing all of your transactions from there. That's a pain, right? Like you got to go into that big scary dashboard and everything. You want to be able to link this up with some external apps. You want to be able to use it seamlessly in your browser. You also want to be able to use it probably on mobile, right? You want your mobile phone to be able to handle Zaps as well. Well, that's what we're doing next. We're going to link up a couple different options so that you can access your Lightning node anywhere from your browser and your phone. Alby is a desktop extension for your browser. You can get it for Chrome. You can get it also for Firefox. If I'm not mistaken, there may be some other options out there, but right now I'm sitting in Chrome browser, so this is what we're going to use. And so Alby is an extension that you can download from your app store. And so you can hit add browser extension and it takes you to the web store for the browser that you're in. And it'll give you the option to add it here. You just press a button and then it'll pop up. It'll be a little option up here in the top right that you can pin and use. So you can set up an account with this. And by the way, in my old Nostr videos, I showed basically all of the details of setting up an account with Alby and all of that. I've already got it installed here in my browser. So I want to show how to add your LND node that you set up with voltage to Alby so that it's easily accessible as you're using Nostr on mobile. So I'm going to click the Alby extension that's already installed up here. Now I do have an account. I have an Alby account that I was using with this. Okay, so that's why you're seeing it here. But if not, you'll get an option to set up an account. Now this here is a custodial account. It's a custodial Lightning address. So it's btcsessions@getalby.com. I was using that for quite some time with Nostr. It was just simple, easy to use. But I would now like to connect my own node and use that. So how do I do that? Well, if I press the little down arrow here, there's an option. I can switch accounts. I can add a new account, manage accounts. I want to add a new account. And on the account page here, it says, okay, well, you can get, and this is what you'll likely see initially, is you can sign up or log into an existing Alby account, or you can have other wallets. And look at this, there's an option for LND, which is what we're using with Voltage. So I'm going to hit connect. I'm going to choose LND, and then it asks for a couple pieces of information: the REST API host and port, and the macaroon in hex format. And you might be saying, I don't know what the hell that is. Don't worry, Voltage has you covered. Super simple. Let's take a look. So over at our Voltage node, right now we're in our Lightning node. Let's recenter ourselves just to make sure that we're all good. When you first log in, you go to nodes. Okay. It will show you any nodes that you currently have set up, which if you're following this, you likely just have the LND one going, and you just hit view. Okay. That bumps you to your node page. You put in your password and you unlock your node. Okay, fantastic. Everything is here. If we wanted to go and see our Thunderhub page, we'd go to our dashboards and all of that. So this is what we were used to looking at before. We're going to go to the connect page right here. Okay, so there is some sensitive information on this page, so I'm going to be covering it up a little bit. But nonetheless, when we get to the connect page through this little option on the left, you're going to be dropped into this page. And up at the top, it says application. There's a drop-down menu here in which you'll find a number of different options that you can connect your node to. And we are looking for Alby. So I'm going to drop down, I'm going to select Alby, and we'll look at that screen. When I select Alby, I will see this instruction page with everything that I need. Okay, so it says Alby is your browser extension to send and receive Bitcoins over the Lightning Network. Alby allows you to send individual budgets for websites, sign into Lightning applications, so on and so forth without a password. So it says after installing Alby, click the connect to your LND node button in Alby. If you're already using Alby, hit add new account, which is what we did, or what I did, within the extension first. Copy the node URL below and paste it into the address field, and then upload or paste the admin macaroon. Now, I'm not showing the admin macaroon right now, but there's a copy button for each. So let's copy the first one, this one. We'll jump back to Alby, and we're going to paste that in here. Now, I'm going to do the exact same thing for the macaroon, which is right down below if I scroll a little bit. So I'm going to copy and paste that into Alby as well. And once that's pasted in, I'm going to hit the continue button. And believe it or not, it's that easy. You are now connected to your own Voltage node in Alby in your browser. You now have access to send and receive sats from the Lightning Network non-custodially and inside of Nostr. Now, if you're going to be using Nostr regularly on your desktop, then you're probably going to want a plugin to actually be able to manage the key for you so that you can create posts, notes, and encrypt messages and do all of that kind of stuff that you normally do in Nostr with those credentials without having to paste your actual private key into every different browser option that you use. It'll just be in a single plugin, which could be Alby. And so the way you do that is you go to the Alby extension, and then there's a little sandwich board here, and there's a section where you can go to accounts. Alternatively, there is a little drop down here where, again, if you have more than one account, it will pop up there, but you can go to manage accounts here as well. So I'm going to do that. And then for you, it'll likely just show the singular account that you've set up. So you're going to click on that, your LND. If you scroll down, there's an option to paste in your Nostr information so that that key is allocated to that particular account. And when you go to use Nostr on your desktop in your browser, then the key manager becomes Alby. Instead of, again, having to give it to each client that you decide to use, it's just a single plugin. That's the only one with the key. All right, so I do have my my secret key in a password manager. I'm just going to copy that and I'm going to paste it here, my private key, and then I'm going to click save. So we'll be back when I do that. Once you paste in your private key, it should automatically fill in the public key, and you just can click save. And at that point, your L&D connection, your Alby browser extension, all of that is now the key to your Nostr account. And you can also do this on mobile. We'll figure that out momentarily. But we are now set with Alby, and we can effectively navigate to something like Snort, and we can use our browser extension. Now you may get pop-ups saying like, hey, do you want to approve this with your extension, so on and so forth. Just know that yes, you can approve that however you're using it. It will pop up, and if you use my previous videos, you've probably already done that. But yeah, just make sure that those credentials are allocated to the correct account. Again, if you followed my original Nostr video, then you likely will have an Alby account. And if you're migrating to something like this, it's easy. Again, you just plug in your credentials. You've got two different accounts, and you just select the one you want to use. You can even log out of the old one if you don't want to use the Alby account itself and just use the new one you created. That's fine too. So now that everything's linked up, at least on desktop, let's take a look at how we can zap somebody. So here's a good post from Igor. Seems like Taylor Swift is based. All right, sure, I'll zap that. We're gonna tap the zap button. We're gonna get our option here. You may get a pop-up from Alby saying, hey, do you want Alby to have the credentials to be able to do the following? You can just hit confirm. If you want to check the box that says you don't need to ask me again, you can do so. And let's send 1,000 sats over to Igor. All right, we're gonna hit 1,000. I'm gonna hit zap. We'll get a notification here. I'm not gonna remember and set a budget. I'm just gonna leave it because I may want to send different amounts at different times. I'm gonna hit pay now. And there we go. I just sent a zap from my own Lightning node to somebody on Nostr with a plugin that it connects it all. And if I click on my little browser extension now, there's a little back button here. You can see there's the 1,000 sats going out a few seconds ago. But you now have your send and receive. This acts, by the way, as a regular Lightning wallet too. You can send and receive anywhere you like, but you have your outgoing, you have your incoming transactions. There's a whole bunch of zaps that have previously come in to my own Lightning node. So all of these come in directly to my own custody. Now, the other thing I want to show here is being able to receive a tip on Nostr. Okay, so what I'll do is I'm going to make a post. All right, so yo guys, I'm making a tutorial on linking your Nostr account to your own, and then this is the npub for voltage, your own voltage lightning node. This is going to be in the video. Can someone send a small demo zap so I can show how it works? So I'll just hit send, and that should go out. In a moment, we'll see if that gets a couple of zaps, and then we'll be able to, we should see it in our Alby when that starts to come through. And of course, Derek Ross was the man to do the job in like 3.5 seconds. So we did get a zap there. So it's showing that there's a 21 sat zap sitting there from Derek. Thanks, man. Much appreciated. So we're going to hit Alby, and we're going to see what is up in terms of incoming zap. Oh, geez, there's another one too. Okay, so 21 sats. Yeah, so 21 sats and then another 13 sat zap. So all of that is coming in directly from Nostr to our own Lightning node that we run ourselves. Fantastic. So we're now set up on desktop. What about mobile? How do we do that? We're going to jump to that next. For linking your LND node on mobile so that you can have access to all of your incoming and outgoing zaps, I recommend using Zeus. Zeus is an excellent mobile wallet that can connect to any Lightning node that you may have. It's available on iOS and Android, and it's seamless, I've got to say. And Voltage shows you how to easily connect to it. So if I jump back to my Voltage Lightning node, so this same interface that we've been using the whole time, and I hit connect, we'll jump to that page, and then we'll do the drop down that we did before. So once again, the connect page, drop down, we're looking for Zeus. And this is what we get. Effectively, it says open the Zeus app and go to settings, select add new node. You can connect by either scanning the QR code or copy and pasting all of the connect details down below. After your connection information is entered, select save node config. So at this point, we're going to just jump to our phone. I'll have Zeus on my phone, and we'll show how to easily connect using this QR code here on the screen. Okay, so I'm here with Zeus on mobile. I'm simply going to hit get started. I'm going to click on connect a node, and then I'm going to hit the plus button in the top right. And then I'm just going to hit the square in the top right, which will allow me to open my camera and scan the QR code that I pulled up with my Voltage website. Okay, so I'll cover up the sensitive information with these Bukele bucks here, but it basically fills in everything. I'm going to give the nickname up top, and then down at the bottom, there's an option that says Save Node Config, that white button there. I'm going to fill in the name of my node and then hit Save, and we should be all set. You will get this one warning, and just hit I understand Save Node Config. Upon hitting that button, you'll be bumped to this screen. That's a good sign. That means you're all connected. This is your send and receive screen. You can type in amounts of sats and designate where it's going. But if you go down to the bottom left here, you're going to see there's your Lightning node with all the appropriate funds. Whatever's on Lightning, whatever's on chain, it's all there. If I tap up, I can see all of my activity. Oh, geez, somebody else. There's a number of sats that have come in here since I posted, apparently. There's the 13 before, but yeah, there's been a few zaps that have happened since then. But nonetheless, all of this is here, accessible on my phone. I can send and receive. So we're going to now jump and we're going to test out using NOSTR with Zeus as our Lightning backend to be able to send and receive zaps there. Okay, so here I am on Amethyst, which is an Android client you can use for NOSTR. You know, you can scroll, see all kinds of different posts and everything, you know, see your notifications. Apparently, a number of people have now zapped that post. So again, thanks to everybody that was watching and was part of that post and is now part of this video. I see you all. It's greatly appreciated, and much love to all of my nostriches out there. Nonetheless, let's find something awesome that maybe we can zap and see how it reacts on mobile when using Zeus. Okay, well, I always love me some Odell, so I gotta go and zap Odell here. So and it depends on the client you're using, but you're gonna hit the zap button, and we'll send over 1,000 sats, and it's gonna say, what do you wanna use with this? And it'll give you kind of a default option, but we're gonna use Zeus now. Now that we have it all set up, why wouldn't we do this non-custodially? So not that Moon is non-custodial, but you know, we have our own Lightning node now. So this opens it up automatically. 1,000 sats, pay with this invoice. We're going to hit pay. Boom. Transaction successfully sent. We've now zapped Odell for his upcoming rabbit hole recap. So we can hit go to wallet. It bumps us back to our main screen. I'll just back out of this. And look, now it pops up. I've zapped Odell and it's gone up by 1,000 sats there. So I mean, that's it, guys. It's all seamless. It works. It's non-custodial. You're zapping people like crazy on NOSTR, and it's through your own Voltage node. And now again, remember how I said if you save anything on here, then it will all be across every client. So we can now see my npub BTC sessions at vlt.ge. And it's the same for my Lightning address right there. It's all there, and people can actually search me up by searching that tag, that npub or NIPO5, and they can send me Lightning, not just from here, but from anywhere. It doesn't have to be within Nostr. People can send me a Lightning transaction to that Lightning address from anywhere. So this is across every platform. And we'll take a look at Zeus one more time. We'll send a transaction to a Lightning wallet we've got sitting here, and show that you can use your Zaps external to Nostr. So here is Wallet of Satoshi, which is a custodial option that a lot of people on Nostr use, and that's totally fine. But I just want to show that you can send independently between people that, you know, is not related to Nostr whatsoever. So here on Wallet of Satoshi, you know, I have a Lightning address here. Maybe I can copy that, jump over to Nostr, or jump over to Zeus, hit send, and I can paste in. And there's, again, I just put in my Lightning address from Wallet of Satoshi, and maybe I just want to send over 100 sats. And I'll just say, yo, I'll hit confirm. Okay, this is where it's going. Pay this invoice. And there, that was sent. So let's take a look over at Wallet of Satoshi. I can close here. And a few seconds ago, there we go, 100 sats coming in. Same thing would be true if I hit receive and I were to create a Lightning invoice and add an amount. Okay, I'd like 100 sats, generate the invoice. I'm going to copy that, jump back over to Zeus. We'll go back to the wallet. We'll hit send, and we'll paste in that information. It autofills the amount this time. We hit pay this invoice, and off it goes. When I jump back, there was a little notification there saying it was paid, but there we go, 100 sats, 100 sats. There we go. So this works seamlessly, and same the other way around. I can go to the wallet, I can request, and we'll just say test. I'd like 1,000 sats. You can add route hints. It makes it easier for other wallets to find you. AMP means multipath, meaning it can go through multiple channels at different times. For larger transactions, that might be necessary. I'd say probably not this time. I'll hit create invoice. I'm going to copy this invoice. And actually, by the way, here's the neat thing about, I'm going to do something a little bit different. Here's the neat thing about Zeus is this is a unified QR code. So somebody that's using any type of wallet can scan that, and depending on what type of wallet they're using, it will show up differently as either on-chain or Lightning. If you'd like to just receive a Lightning payment, you know the person's using Lightning, you can tap that, or you can go to on-chain on the far corner, or you can even start an NFC broadcast and somebody can tap and get all the information about your invoice and be able to send you there. So this is super versatile. So anyways, I'll copy this invoice for this example, jump back here, it auto detects the invoice. I'm going to use it. I'm going to hit send, and now it has been sent. And I can jump back here and we can see that the invoice has been paid and we're all set and ready to go. So let's chat final thoughts here. First off, I want to say if you are already learning how to use Nostr at this point in the game, this early on, then what I've showed in this video is entirely possible for you. You can do this. It's not more complicated than what you've already learned and already mastered. I'm very excited that non-custodial or self-custodial Zaps are becoming a thing and becoming easier. Linking up Voltage is very, very simple to get it running, and it's just copying and pasting, basically putting together the apps so that they all work together. But that's not the only thing. There are more options coming down the road where you'll be able to just have something running on your phone and link it up. You'll be able to very simply, without even having to think about setting up channels and everything, that's all coming down the line. Or you can go to the far kind of self-sovereign extent and link up your own node that is sitting at home. And that is also becoming an easier thing to do so that you're hosting the infrastructure yourself. But nonetheless, what Voltage has done here and their kind of forward-thinking mentality of let's make this accessible to Nostr users is fantastic. And I got to give a tip of the hat for that. Now, I want to say also, if you kind of looked at the Zeus and the Alby stuff and you want a little bit more of a deeper dive into that, I have a couple old videos on that I've previously done, and I will link those down below along with all of the other stuff that I've mentioned. So you can go and do all your learning there with any aspect of any of the video that you've seen previous. There will be more in-depth stuff for you to check out. And finally, let me know your thoughts, your experiences with Nostr. Again, the speed at which things are changing with Nostr, it's crazy. You compare it to something like Twitter where, it's this kind of behemoth and the progress is so slow. And Nostr is just a protocol and anybody can build anything in the clients, and everything is moving at breakneck speed. If you go back to my first Nostr video and you look at the interfaces I was kind of working with then and the amount of change and the differences between the applications and everything I've been using now, and that video is just a few months old, it's unbelievable. I can only imagine jumping forward a year, 5 years. Oh my God, where are we going to be? And how easy is it going to be to interface in a self-sovereign way? So super excited about kind of this intersection of self-sovereign money, free speech money, and these free speech protocols. So let me know all your thoughts, your comments down below, and how you've experienced setting up your own Lightning node and linking it to your Nostr profile. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, please do like, subscribe, share, all those things super important. They help get this content in front of more eyeballs. If you want to help out the show in another way, you can hit up the previously mentioned sponsors in the show notes down below. You can also hit up my website, btcsessions.ca. There, if you need a little bit more hand-holding than what is done in the free tutorials on YouTube and you want some one-on-one time where I can help you set whatever you need to set up when it relates to Bitcoin, Nostr, whatever it may be, you can book me for private sessions on my website. You can also check out in-person workshops I'm running, like the upcoming one in Miami just around the corner. I'm doing a cold card workshop there. You can also drop me tips. So of course, we did all the Nostr stuff on this video, but I set up with Voltage a BTCpay server self-sovereign tip page now, which will be my default. You can reach from btcsessions.ca/tips, or you can click on the tips button right on my website. And if you go to btcsessions.ca/tips, you'll see my tip page, and you can tip any amount. It will go to the exact same Lightning node or to a self-custodial on-chain wallet that I've set up. And you can, tip $1, you can buy me a coffee, or you can do things like cover the cost of my Voltage node or my streaming service, or help me with hardware and basically help run the show, or you can pick out your own amount as well. It's all there on my contribution page, btcsessions.ca/tips. With that, I'm out. Have yourselves a wonderful day or evening. I'll see you guys next time for your daily session.
HODL the Bitcoin.